So what happens when you take a classic Hollywood story, mix in one of today's favorite leading men, and pair him up with a megastar singer?
Find out this episode of Alternate Ending when we review A Star is Born.
Hey,
What?
I just want to look at you one more time.
Tune in to Alternate Ending now.
Welcome to Alternate Ending. We're discovering good movies, one bad movie at a time. I'm film school dropout Robert Jarasinski.
And I'm the casual moviegoer, Carrie Jarasinski.
And while we have different backgrounds and perspectives on movies, our goal is always the same: to help you navigate the cinema world, to determine if you should spend big bucks on a flick rushing to theaters, wait for it to come out on streaming, or skip it altogether. This episode we're talking about A Star is Born, making it the 5th time this story has been told, if you count the lesser-known What Price Hollywood from 1932. The 4 prior versions have brought in a total of 16 Oscar nominations and 2 wins.
Not a bad foundation to build on, which probably explains all the Oscar buzz surrounding the movie. In this modern-day retelling of a similar story, leading man, singer, hunk, humanitarian Bradley Cooper steps behind the camera for the first time with his directorial debut.
Yeah, that's really annoying. That's just too many talents and God-given gifts for one person to possess. Bradley, would you mind sharing the wealth a little bit with the rest of us?
I'm fine with him just the way he is, I think, so you just keep doing you, Coop. Keep doing you. The movie follows an alcoholic, past his prime singer, Jackson Maine, played by Bradley Cooper. We see downtrodden Jackson going through the motions of fame until a chance encounter leads him to discover a diamond in the rough singer-songwriter, Allie, played by Lady Gaga. And by the way, if Lady Gaga is what rough looks like, we've got some problems. I'm just saying.
That ultimately becomes the main thrust of the movie. It examines the relationship of these two individuals who care for one another. One whose star is being born while the other's is fading away, not unlike us, Carrie. Beyond that, it also looks at the impacts of addiction, trying to make it in a shallow, pun intended, music industry. But first and foremost, it's a love story. Care, so what did you think about A Star is Born?
Well, the highlights for me were the overall story and writing completely transported me into the movie, which I think is one of the highest praises a movie can get. And while there are definitely some cheesy elements, it worked for me 100%. The performances by Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga will make you completely feel like they're in love, and the songs and music were totally entrancing, and probably will make you cry. Some of the lowlights, the secondary characters really weren't all that memorable or interesting. The dad and his friends, and Lady Gaga's friend from work, And not that I know from personal experience, but there is a very high likelihood that you might end up crying in your car after the movie's over. So overall, A Star is Born has so much to love for all moviegoers. It's romance, it's inspiration, it's soul-crushing. It's totally worth spending your money on. I ended up giving it 4.5 stars and recommend racing to theaters to see it on the big screen.
We had a lot of the same thoughts on this movie, which I think speaks to its broad appeal. Highlights for me were the acting. All around, there are tremendous performances here, from the supporting characters like Sam Elliot and Dave Chappelle, to the stars Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga. I'm calling it right now that both Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga will be nominated for an Oscar. That being said, my MVP for this film has to go to Bradley Cooper. He is putting in a completely transformative performance. The other highlight for me was the music, particularly the folk rock music. I now own this soundtrack and have been playing it on loop. Watching how these songs developed and getting to hear them sung with such honesty make for a lasting impact. The other highlight for me was the charm. I fell for the romance between Jackson and Allie hard. The big reason for it was the sweetness Bradley Cooper brought to his character. Contained within this movie are cheesy lines, and I believe if it were any other movie or any other actor delivering these lines, you'd hear audience groans, but somehow he makes it work. Lowlights for me were passage of time. The movie moves around a lot through time, and there is no real sense of place or how much time has truly passed. It left me a little confused as to how certain plot points developed so quickly. The other lowlight for me is the middle act. The middle act tended to drag a bit, and I think it's largely due to not having the chemistry between Jackson and Allie present. The standalone scenes with Allie were not as strong as those with Jackson, but the movie did pick back up again as the movie entered the third act through the end. Overall, this movie touches on something that I think will resonate with a lot of people. It is what makes shows like American Idol, The Voice, America's Got Talent so popular. We want to root for people plucked from obscurity. This movie amplifies that fairy tale feeling by pairing it with two people falling in love, and then grounds it in a reality that we can empathize with where, like in life, there are ups and downs. Despite small nitpicks, I love this movie, and honestly had to hold myself back from giving it a 5-star rating. I marked it down for some objective shortcomings, but ended up with a 4-star rating, and I highly recommend people rush out to theaters to experience it on the big screen. You won't be disappointed.
But we love hearing everyone's thoughts, so leave comments below on what you thought of A Star is Born. We have other videos like this one we'd love for you to check out.
And be sure to subscribe to our channel to make sure you don't miss our future releases. And check out more details about all the stuff we're up to, including weekly movie giveaways on our website, alternateending.com. We'll catch you next time.